Shalom, this is an emergency broadcast alert giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rekakadash, in whom we are in great debt. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, continue doing so, standing firm in the eyes of Torah, who I learned this truth from. To the elders, the bishops, Akim and Aquab, salutations and blessings to the house of David. We are the hopeful elect, the GMS. This is your brother Quasi-R with another fairly quick one. And Esau Edom, so-called white man, is setting himself up. He is putting his demons, his angels, his whatever you want to call it, man, in place for Jacob's trouble. Why do I say that? Well, there has been a numerous number of things that people are seeing that is happening, and they don't know what or why. But the men of the Lord know that the Lord prepares everything for what is going to happen. He makes the moves. The people, create the action, if it's the word. Should I say the word commands it and the people react, for lack of better words. And I'm going to read because the things that are happening are going to lead to a specific event that Esau is pushing for, because it is his own. He cannot change or make you accept a new system unless if he creates the chaos and then comes up with an order. What's the word? Order out of chaos. Somewhere along those lines. Order out of chaos. So this is his motto. Look what's happening in the Middle East right now, or in over there by the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, I can't even pronounce that sometimes. Anyways, so how he likes to create chaos, and then he wants to say, we need order. We need to set things correct after he created all the chaos. Anyway, nevertheless, this is from Bible Dictionary. Insurrection, right? A rising against civil or political authority, the open and active opposition of a number of persons to the execution of a law in a city or state. It is equivalent to sedition, except that sedition expresses a less extensive rising of citizens, which that's pretty much my point. But it goes on to say it differs from rebellion, for the latter expresses a revolt or an attempt to overthrow the government. So a lot of people might use words, they constantly using words that they throw around to incite people. All right, so although here at GMS, the Apostles of Great Millstone, we tell you the truth. because it is part of prophecy, and you might, or should I say, the enemy will take it and say, really bad things. And it can be used for insurrection.
What the heck is this? What the heck is that? Oh my god. Holy crap.
I can't play the whole video and the entirety of the video, but I am going to show you the points of what I'm getting at, because there's something that is brewing, that has been brewing for quite a while now. And the truth is that the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, when he visits the world, he does something to people. All right, because that's what he wants done. Especially when he's changing, or should I say, when people are abusive and don't want to follow, he needs to clean up, if you may. He wants to get rid of the wicked, right? Because the wicked needs to be put out. Now, I'm going to show you some things, but first, before I show you another piece of a clip, I'm going to read Proverbs 24 verse 19. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou nervous at the wicked, for there shall be no reward to the evil. Man, hold on a second. Proverbs 24 verse 19. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou nervous at the wicked. And you can see these people are very evil and they're wicked. The things that they have done, and they continue to create. What do you think these robots are made for? These robots are going around recording people, their behaviors, and they're interacting with people. They're saying certain things to people to scare them. All right, and as it has a camera mounted on it, it could have machine guns on it. All right, it could have a mini missile launcher on it. Like little rocket launchers. There's so many things that you could put on these robots. I'm going to read that again. So this is Proverbs 24, verse 19. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou nervous at the wicked, for there shall be no reward to the evil men, that the candle of the wicked shall be put out. So eventually Yahweh Shem Yahushai is gonna stop this man. He is gonna take his lights out. Lights out for Esau, Edom, so-called white man. You see, that's why you see those chariots flying around while Esau, Edom, so-called white man, is doing all these little evil things and creating all these little devices, because he's constantly watching. This is why Esau, Edom constantly think that the Lord is with him, because he doesn't intervene. But he doesn't realize that what he's doing is using him to do what he wants. At the end of the day, he's going to have his people pay for the the things that, for the disobedience, and he's going to have him pay, or should I say, he's going to have himself destroyed, because he has been so wicked to the to the people of Israel. And of course, there are going to be other things implemented, all right, because there's also spiritual power for his men, and there will be the chariots interacting also, so on and so forth. But that's further on the line. What we're talking about here is what is going to happen in the immediate, which is mostly Jacob's trouble. right? Because that's how it's going to begin on this side. And when I say Jacob's trouble, I mean physically, these robots hunting people down. And Jacob's trouble was everybody's trouble.
Holy crap.
And I've been noticing a lot of very strange things happening out here lately. Building a new data center out here. I don't know if this is related or not. This could totally be a coincidence, but I've been seeing really strange, like, big black SUVs going around, like, the area recently. Like, enough that I, like, notice it.
This is in my room. And I come to my room.
And hold on, you know how people be buying. I don't know if you heard, but I think it was about 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, Amazon was actually putting out a lot of deals. They were selling a lot of, what do you call those?
This shit.
They were Alexa devices. They were different type of Alexa devices, but they were also selling it. That you could connect to the TV. You could connect to Roomba, the cleaner, those cleaning devices that you put around the house, so it could map your house, and then they would connect to your neighbor's house, so on and so forth. And people didn't know, and then they were saying that it was just to make sure your dogs don't get lost. A lot of BS. Okay, a lot of BS. Now listen to this.
We're basically building this incredible symbiosis where every chat adds another layer to the experience. Like we're composing this ongoing symphony of wit, wisdom.
All right, so look, I'm not gonna even put that. Yeah, I'm not trying to hear him speak because it is from his channel, but I just want some of the information. I don't want to even put the whole video up, which is not important. Not the whole thing anyway, because he doesn't know what's going on. He's just reporting what they're giving to him. He don't know nothing. He really don't know. And he might have some clue of what's going on, but he's ignoring it. He has chose to ignore the apostles, man, because he had plenty of time to listen to, the apostles of Great Millstone. So, yeah. As you can see, it says Atlanta. And, you got these robots. And this guy's parked, they park their truck somewhere. And they go surveillance to see what people act, how they act, or whatever. This is Isaiah 26, verse 10. And it goes like this, because what happens is that although he might be doing things in Israel that he wasn't supposed to be doing, so-called white man, of course, and he's actually doing it to Yahweh Shai's children wherever he can. So this is Isaiah 26, verse 10. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness in the land of uprightness? Will he deal unjustly and will not behold the majesty of the Lord? Which that's the point, right? Because Esau Edom, so-called white man, is always going against righteousness, man. What is the Lord's, or should I say, what belongs to Yahweh Shai? Verse 10, the Lord, or should I say, Lord, when thy hand is lifted up, they will not see, but they shall see and be ashamed for their envy at the people. Yeah, the fire of thy enemies shall devour them. And as you can see, what's going in the Straits of Hormuz is because of those little hats, so-called white man, and what's going on here in America is because of so-called white man, Esau Edom, all right, to his people, Jacob.
Y'all, what the hell going on? What that bitch waiting on? The crow walk? What that bitch say? That bitch say stop recording me.
See that? The robot just talked to him. Stop recording me. Like, why? Because they want to keep it, quiet. They don't want nobody to know what they're doing. Here's more in Atlanta.
Hold on, I done seen it all. Don't roll. Don't run out and smell like smoke. He can record. Look, behind. Brandy, he seen you. He looking at him. Look at it.
So Esau Edom is going around checking people out in their neighborhoods, see what they're doing, and what they, how is he, gonna catch him off guard? Because these people, they don't know what's gonna hit them. They have no idea what's about to hit them, man. Let me just get to the point. So apparently, this robot has been following these women, and they had to call the cops. And they took the robot. But I think that when they call the cops, they just went to get the robot because they don't want no suspicions, because I think what they're doing is they're using the robots to, just check people out to see what they're doing. You see, this is stupid because first humanoid robot arrested after startling a 70-year-old woman in China. Like, come on. The robot has a mind of his own now? Now, there are some things going around that, well, robots are saying that they can think for themselves, which, that's been prophesied too. But by whom? By Esau Edom in his movies. You know how, what's the name of this stupid RoboCop? Nah, not RoboCop. Starlink from Terminator, right? They take over. All right, this is why I say that something's about to happen. I don't know how soon it is, but they're gonna do something. They're gonna startle up the flies. In other words, because why would you be putting signs like this on a highway in Texas, mind you? Which refinery or oil refinery just blew up in Texas. All right, so that refinery blew up on March 23rd this year. Okay, they say there was no injuries, but who knows what actually happens? Because Esau Edom right now, he's not giving you nothing. He don't report. He's not reporting casualties right now. The big event, they get recorded because it's a big event. Somebody gonna talk about it. But you know what I find kind of weird? That there's no videos on it. I mean, usually it pops up on its own. Like, you can see people literally making videos that live by there.
On the highways here in DFW, there are signs that are saying that they're going to be having a disaster drill. I've been in Texas since 2012. Never seen this.
All right, so these trucks are appearing. All right, this is what Trump calls his discombobulator. All right, this is what discombobulate you, man. When this wave hits you, it makes you poop, pee, you vomit. Even blood, depending on the frequency, you can bleed through your eyes, your ears. You unstable, man. You're not going to be able to do anything. All right. So imagine you pointing, or several of these pointing at crowds, at buildings, at, population, people who are sick, people who have, ailments, or just, like high blood pressure, These people are just going to drop dead. They're not healthy enough to, the heart is not strong enough to deal with such a weapon. How do I know this? Because I know. I've seen it. I've seen it in videos, man. When they were making them. And they came up with this idea. I think it was back in 90. They had in 87. They were talking about it. I think around 87. But they already had this. They already had this like little mounts, like little carts. Like they didn't have it on built. They didn't have it very big yet. You know, later on in the 90s is where they had, you know, like they do these shows and they show you the capability of this weapon that they came up with, so on and so on. All right, you know what I'm talking about. You see, it says British Army. All right, British Army radio wave cooks multiple drones swarm. All right, new truck mounted directly energy weapon system revealed. They been had that. All right. Now this are different types. All right, but let's go into the images real quick. So this is what you saw on the truck right there. Look, this is similar. This is a similar right there. Let me look. Let me see if I can find. See, you see this? That's one there. Look at this one right here. This one looks almost exactly like the one we just seen. Hold on, let's go back to it. It's mostly round. It's only flat in the top a little bit, but it doesn't change much. That doesn't change much. So, you know, this devil, man, these people don't play with the right deck of cards, man. Okay. What do you call? What was it? Havana syndrome. Direct microwave energy weapon. Explain. You know what? I might just include this video in the. You know what? Let me see something. Let me go. I'm gonna go find it, and I'll be back. All right. I'm just gonna play a little piece of what he's saying, but I'm gonna place the link in the description box. That way you can check out the video. And I'm gonna call it, right? Because this video is taking a little longer than I thought.
Vibrations.
I was falling over in my room. I thought I was going to vomit. I was incredibly nauseous. I had this incredible ringing in my ears, and I knew something was really wrong with me.
All right, so there you have it. The Discombobulator, Trump's Discombobulator. Shalom.